Hello, it is me, it is I, Zhylaw. Um, the first vlog I uploaded to YouTube and the first anything I uploaded to YouTube seemed to be very, very popular. So I'm trying something new today, something I've never actually done before. I'm not live streaming this, I'm recording. This is a recording. I always would just live stream content I intended for YouTube, and then I would cut it, clip it, upload it, pain in the butt. But that's I don't know. I just always thought the idea of talking to myself was weird. Like even if I design content for YouTube, I would always imagine a studio audience, I guess. So yeah, so we're doing an experiment. I'm making a recording, and the quality is good. And I don't know, if it turns out well, then I'll start doing this in the future instead of just doing vlogs in the beginning of every stream. I'm going to do that change because if I start uploading everything to YouTube, then it would actually be easier for me to do it this way. Because if I stream it on Twitch first, as I said, I have to find the VOD, cut, clip, highlight, upload. It's a more tedious process. So we'll see how this turns out. Very exciting. My first recording I ever made. And so today I wanted to talk about a few things. And I think I could be more verbose. And I could make longer videos if I know that specifically it's only for YouTube and it's not something people are going to watch in front of a VOD. But the first thing I want to do is thank the channel's new viewers. And this way, now that it's being uploaded to YouTube, I think that these thank yous will reach an even wider audience. I might start, or at least try to occasionally thank new followers as they happen during the stream, but no guarantees. But I definitely want to stick with the idea of giving a shout out to every new follower every time I make a new video, from in between the previous video and the new one, because I think that's something people would like. So let's do that now. Z320, thank you for following the channel, Z320. This feels so weird because I'm not actually streaming. And Washand, thank you for following this channel, Washand. I really appreciate. Wait, Washand. Oh, that's actually a streamer. Oh, cool. Thank you for following the channel, and I have been watching your stream lately. It's good. I like your voice. So thank you, Washand, for following the channel. I really, really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Welcome to the friendliest tiny Twitch community. Catchy, huh? Came up with that myself. Welcome to the welcome to the friendliest tiny Twitch community. That's my catchphrase, at least for the new followers. Anyway, what I want to talk about, and I spoke a lot about this last time, but some people didn't quite understand what I was trying to say, and it elucidated quite a strong opinion among people. So I'm going to talk about WoW and what's happening with me in WoW. I'm not saying I'm quitting WoW. I'm in this place where I'm not going to play it unless I feel the urge to play it. So far, I haven't, and I don't know if a month goes by and I still don't feel the urge, then I guess I'll just cancel my account. But what I tried to make clear, and I thought I did a pretty good job, was I don't think there's anything wrong with Legion. I think Legion's actually a really good expansion. I think that I've just kind of personally grown in a different direction, and I just don't have the patience anymore for that classic MMORPG gameplay. And honestly, I think that a lot of other personalities and individuals who quit WoW and are ragging on how much Legion sucks or how Blizzard sucks now, I think they deep down feel the same way I do, but they just can't admit it, because acknowledging you've changed as a person is really hard to even know, because when you change bit by bit every day, you don't notice it. Only someone who hasn't seen you in months notices. Like, you don't notice yourself slowly gaining or losing weight, but if someone hasn't seen you in months and they suddenly see you, they notice. Same principle. So yeah, I think people, we've changed, we've grown up. A lot of people, we've been playing WoW for 10 years, and we've started playing WoW in our teenage years. So you change a lot from like 15 to 25 and 25 to 35. You change a lot as a person. And while WoW is pretty much exactly the same, only better, maybe that's part of the problem. It's just not, the way the WoW used to be, the way that WoW is. Um, it just it's not doing it for me, and it's not specific to WoW. It's just the the classic concept of an MMO in general. In particular, I don't have patience anymore. I have like I don't mind working hard to achieve. That's what being a gamer is all about. I play games in very hard difficulty, and I put a lot of time into gaming. And I like to struggle. I don't mind struggling, but what I don't like is when um, you can fail or even succeed and after hours and hours of effort, and you have nothing to show for it. Like for example, in Dark Souls, it's one thing to struggle for 10 hours and then finally kill a boss, and you're like, yes, or just give up and come back and then get it, the next day. But in WoW, in a raid, freaking pug raid, it takes forever to get invited, and then you hope that that's not full of idiots. And then you have to wait half an hour for people to get summoned and to fly in and people to get replaced. I mean, I spent more time playing Hearthstone waiting for people to show up than I did actually fighting encounters. And then you wipe for an hour in a shit raid, and then the group falls apart. And you can't keep trying. It's over. The group is gone. Um, and there's nothing you can do. You rely on other people, and then you just jump in another pug, or you down the boss and nothing drops, and that's part of the game. I understand, and it's always been that way. You're not guaranteed loot. You kill a mythic raid boss, you're still not going to get loot. But I think, and this might be more specific to Legion, but I feel like I can go an entire week of playing hard and not get an upgrade because of the elements of randomness, the extreme randomness, and the way that eye levels can fluctuate on the same piece of gear. Uh, it just makes it, and also the way that secondary stats now um, are like separate from item level, and you could get gear 10 item levels under your set piece, but technically be an upgrade for you. It just makes gearing up very difficult, unsatisfying, and random, and thus the potential of not getting gear. And in WoW, getting gear and raiding is pretty much the point. Uh, and I just log in, and I feel like there's so many different things I can do. None of them are particularly appealing. All of them have about the same chance of getting loot, and that's pretty slim. And also, everything there is to do is pretty much group related. And again, now going back to me as a person, I don't have the patience for people anymore. Um, I like playing a game where I know there's people around, but that doesn't mean that I necessarily want to do things with them. And that's something that people who always make fun of the loners in MMOs never understood. Is just because you don't want to, interact with people on a social level doesn't mean you don't want to know they're there, that they exist. Because knowing that there's real people all around you is, it's a mental thing that makes you enjoy the game, adds to immersion, makes the world feel real. You can kill people, you can show off to people, and that's the difference between a single player game and a multiplayer game, regardless of uh, how much content you're required to do with other people. And I feel like in the past, there was more you could do on your own. Not necessarily gear related, but I feel like the reputation system and world quests are a subpar replacement for dailies, looking at it purely as something to do by yourself. And the quests, I feel like there was less story content, which most people don't even give a shit about. But that's something I enjoyed. That I did every single quest in the entire expansion, and on one character to be sure, but in less than a week, and that's ridiculous. And some of the zones kind of sucked. This wouldn't be an issue though if I played like other people. But I don't. I was never really into PvP. For me, it was always about uh, just exploring the universe and raiding. And I almost wish that I could raid without other people. Like I could have 39 robots. So I really I like I want to at first blush to blame Legion because that's what everyone does and it's easier. But the truth is, I just feel like as I grow older, I want a game that respects my time. Not necessarily easy. I don't mind trying again and again, but I don't want to feel like my time was wasted. And I get that feeling now, but not necessarily from Legion. I think it's just the way MMOs are made, and it just doesn't do it for me anymore. And I also don't have the patience for people. I don't mind interacting with people occasionally, but you kind of have to interact with them all the time if you want to get anything done in WoW. And when I was younger, that was fine, but I just get angry. I get really mad when somebody I don't know, like I'm in freaking doing a trial of valor, waiting to start on Odin, and everyone's just running around with their heads cut off like a bunch of chickens. Summon, resummon, and then it's someone's like explain me the fight, like explain to you the fight, the game, like how long has this been out? And I just get so frustrated that I'm bored, and I don't want to be bored. It's not WoW's fault; it's the people's fault. Maybe I should, I could talk to them. Maybe I could turn, like, if I could joke around, but I just want to get moving, and I get really aggravated waiting for people. So I just start playing Hearthstone while I'm waiting, and I just even thinking about it makes me angry. And then there are people that just absolutely suck at the game, which when again wouldn't be that's just like whatever, and it's always been like that. But it just annoys me now. I just don't have the patience for wasting my time, and I don't have the patience for people. And time and people are pretty much what MMOs are all about. Like I look at like, oh, I'm waiting. What about Crowfall? What about Pantheon? And it's like, it's just gonna be more of the same. I mean, maybe I haven't really looked into them, but their whole draw was that we're going to be like old school classic EverQuest or WoW or something. Well, I'm pretty sure that means if you want to get anything done, you need big groups and lots of people. I mean, I'm not some kind of like weirdo loner. Uh, I do enjoy interacting with people, um, but not necessarily all the time, and only like on my own terms in small groups. And I just don't feel there's enough to do that doesn't involve other people, and it's just not fun. Like I play a single player game, and every hour I put in, I feel progress. I love that sense of completion. And it's not just single player games. Um, like I still enjoy playing like Hearthstone or HOTS. So I don't know what it is exactly, but I'm pretty sure. Like I put a lot of thought into it. I don't think it's Legion. I think Legion's okay. I mean, there are some issues with it. Yes, there's some annoying problems. I'm not gonna say it's perfect, but really, when it comes down to it, it's just me. Um, I just, I just want um, more immediate gratification potential. I think that's a good way of putting it. It's not that I want immediate gratification. It's that I want to, like, if I'm really good, so I just wreck a monster, then I can get my gratification. And the only thing holding me back is my skill. In an MMO like WoW, your skill is only a tiny fraction of the equation. You're held back by lockouts. You're held back by content releases. You're held back by randomness in the hope that next week you'll get a drop to move you forward. And of course, you're held back by trying to find people to do things with, people that don't suck, that don't annoy you, that show up. And another thing, speaking of showing up, is I've raided in Legion with the guild, and I I only enjoy, like, I realize I just don't have it in me anymore to do like set raid times. You know, the whole, oh, we have a schedule, Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, be online from, at 8 o'clock. We're gonna do raid for 4 hours. I just I can't do that. I don't know. Like, some days I just don't feel like playing a game, or I don't want to play WoW, or I want to take a nap, or I want to masturbate. And the idea that, oh, you can't nap, oh, you have to play WoW now, and you have to raid because it's raid time with your guild, like having an appointment hovering over me in WoW. I don't know. I'm too old for that. I don't. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That's how. Like, how else are you going to do it? That's how it has to be. But it doesn't work for me. I don't like having set times that I have to be somewhere, do something in a game. Nah, not anymore. Some days I just feel tired and I want to sleep. I'm an old man and I want to sleep. So then I sleep and then I miss raid and then I gotta apologize. Then I gotta feel bad. And then it's like, you miss raid, then you get kicked out from the raid group. Which makes sense. Obviously, they need people that they can depend on, but then, you can't raid anymore. I actually really like the World Quest because of how spontaneous it can be. It reminds me of the great quest system that Guild Wars 2 had, the fantastic Rift system that Rift had, that ESO kind of copied. I like it because you can play with people without talking to them, because that's what I want. I want to be around people, but I don't want to have to interact with them if I don't want to. And there's nothing scheduled. The Rift happens, you show up, other people show up. You don't have to like pencil in a time because you need to have a certain number of people. So I don't know, like I still might play some more. I don't hate Legion, and I could maybe look into other MMOs in the future, but really, I just have to admit to myself that I am just not cut out for a traditional MMO anymore. I don't have the patience. I'm too easily irritated with people, and I hate having things scheduled. And I don't like the time gates in the RNG when it comes to feeling of completion, which is very important. That's why we play. I do think that I hope I have an interest, I should say, in the survival genre. I've always seen the survival type multiplayer survival games as almost has the potential to be a new kind of MMO. In many ways, how MOBAs were a new kind of RTS and replaced RTSs for good or for bad, but especially from an esports perspective, that's how it is. I always saw survival games that have the potential to push the medium of MMOs forward in a different direction. I mean, most of them are early access, cash grab pieces of garbage, but the concept is solid, and we're just waiting for someone to put it into action. Like, I remember DayZ first came out, the mod, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. I don't like DayZ. It seems very half-assed, and I hate, the permadeath. But like, if someone took DayZ and made it like almost an MMO, that could be awesome, And I always thought, let's see what happens. And I remember when Firefall came out. Firefall was supposed to be almost like a MMO FPS. Not quite survival game, but definitely it's an MMO, but it's not, which is kind of the same concept. And I put down like $100 in that stupid like Commander bundle. Fucking Mark Kern ran that company and the game into the ground. Real tragedy. But and then the latest batch of survival games are particularly interesting. Like, I've been looking at Conan Exiles. Conan Exiles is so close to being like an MMO crossed with the survival game. I'm waiting to see where it goes. I don't have a lot of faith in Funcom, and it has a huge emphasis on building, which I'm not a fan of. But the idea is there, and if you look at Conan and you squint, you can see the potential. Like I imagine, like 100 character servers, with different rule sets, persistent progress, with NPCs that give you like generated quests, raids, dungeon bosses, character progression, but also, you know, an emphasis on role playing and stories created by players, the open PvP aspect, survival, hunger, thirst, traditional survival kind of stuff, and I think that could actually be the future, and that could be cool. I'm also looking at a game called Beyond Despair, which is also early access. It's like Stalker crossed with a traditional survival game. I haven't purchased it. I hate the idea of buying a game when it's still super fresh because we're all jaded these days about developers who take money and run. But I'm definitely I personally would like to see the evolution of survival games into some sort of quasi MMO experience, one that you could enjoy. One that's more visceral and more intense than an MMO, but has the elements of progression and big group content and stuff that MMOs had. And that's a lot of rambling. Um, I don't know if I'm going to make these videos every time I stream, like almost every day, or if I should I do them less and make them bigger. See, because the thing is, if I don't force myself to do it every stream, then I might not end up doing it. Then I'll just not make a video again for like years, which is another reason why I was doing vlogs at the beginning of every stream, because that way I could actually make myself do it. But I guess there's always the risk if you try to do it all the time, then you run out of things to talk about. Of course, with me, talking is not a problem. So we'll see. We'll see. I should. I guess. I mean, I really don't want to go on and on and on, but I do want to say is since I'm not playing WoW right now. What's happening with the channel? I'm streaming Bioshock Infinite right now, and the idea is I'm just gonna stream games that I want to stream right now, and what I've always enjoyed playing, which is RPGs. And FPS, visual novel, adventure, strategy games, but only and roguelikes, dungeon crawlers, but only the only ones that have a kind of a je crois and an element of RPG and customization. For example, the reason I love Bioshock so much is to me it was always like an RPG. The way you could customize your character and your loadout and choose which build you wanted in your progression and stuff. Um, if it was like Doom, I would never play it. And by the way, I'm never going to play Doom. I have no interest in that. So to me, games are only interesting if they sprinkle on some RPG sprinkles. So whether it's a shooter, maybe kind of an adventure game, maybe a visual novel, and certain strategy games, and also roguelikes and dungeon crawlers. I also what I want to do is I'm thinking of like splitting up the cast into a more story oriented game, and then like a roguelike or some kind of more game that you don't need to listen to, because I enjoyed having a Discord. I had a Discord for people, and we could talk to me, and I know people like that. So I don't want that to go away. And if you only play like games with lots of voice acting or whatever, then it'll be distracting to be on Discord. But for example, if I'm going to stream FTL, and I also think games like FTL are actually are fun to watch, maybe even more than like Bioshock from a viewer perspective, because of the random elements and the procedural generation and the roguelike aspect. Whereas Bioshock is linear in that it's the same as when you played it. So I do want to get more into roguelikes and stuff like that as well. And so, like, if I'm playing FTL, then I can be in Discord. So the plan is a story focused ish kind of game, and then I'll play something like Castle Torgoth, um, and then I could be in Discord during that. And the third kind of game I want to play is just a multiplayer game because I still want to play with people, and especially I want to play with people from the stream. Um, and I have an ever expanding list of multiplayer games that I'm interested in playing with people. Um, you can type the Gaben command, exclamation point Gaben, into chat to see the current list of games. I'm not, just like everything else, I don't play the standard stuff. So I'm interested in playing like Barony, Chronicles of Mystara, the new We Have to Go Deeper, which is in early access right now. More interesting games that have, something going on beyond, no Call of Duty or genital jousting for me. And that's really where we're at right now. Games like Baldur's Gate or Witcher, and then something like I don't know, Hand of Fate, and some multiplayer stuff and combinations of those three. And the multiplayer stuff might also expand and or include a survival game. I do want to get into some kind of survival game. They're very stream worthy, great to interact with people, and I just really think that they could be fun. Right now, I'm looking at Conan and Beyond Despair, but I'm waiting for a few more updates before I decide whether or not I'm going to give them a shot. Um, oh, and as far as Kickstarter goes, um, there is a new game on Kickstarter. What was it called? Hold on, let me tell you. I like to shout out Kickstarters. I really enjoy kickstarting. One of my fantasies that I used to have was that I was like this super rich dude, and I would have like game companies come to me and pitch me like all the games that big publishers refuse to um, publish or pay for because they're not, sure things, and they won't cater to the lowest common denominator. And then I'd be like, here's $1 million, make me this kind of game. So Kickstarter almost lets you fulfill the fantasy of getting in game publishing. Just, if you kickstart, you just gotta be aware that that money might be going in the toilet. So you gotta be okay with that. If you're not okay with that, then don't do it. But it's also much more affordable than people think. I don't know if people got the idea you gotta invest ridiculous amounts of money. So I kickstarted a game called Forged of Blood. Forged of Blood. It's a tactical strategy fantasy game with a very interesting lore. It's being made in Indonesia, and that's great that other countries are trying to make video games. Plus, since it's Indonesian money, it's like not real money. So whatever you kickstart it for, it's like a fraction of the price in American money. I also kickstarted Valorathan Arc Red Covenant Academy for Heroes, which is a cool game. It's a little weeb, I'm telling you now. Not like super weeb, but it's a little weeb where you're like running an academy to train adventurers, and you gotta like you do some light building and like crafting and upgrading, and then you gotta like you have students and you train them, and then the game switches into like an overworld map. You run around fighting as the students, and the better you prepare them, the better they fight, and then they come back to the school with like recipes and materials for you to upgrade your school. And I don't know, it's a cool concept. I like the idea of an academy of adventurers. So and that's also Indonesian. Good, go Indonesia. And so again, if you kickstart it, it's much less in real money, and I don't know if it's going to make it. They're not exactly flooded with funding, but if it's not successful, then you don't get charged. So and I think it looks kind of cool. They've also made some games in the past, so it's not a total shot in the dark. And this other thing I kickstarted, and I'll be honest, this one looks kind of sketchy. It's called Citadel of the North. Brand new Kickstarter, Citadel of the North. They're trying to make like a Baldur's Gate Planescape Torment wannabe game. It look, with painted backgrounds, and they're like, oh, we're gonna make another Baldur's Gate. Sounds great, but they have some environmental footage, but they really don't have a lot to show, and I feel like they just got started. And I don't know anyone who's involved in making this project. It's just some random dude in Australia, and go Australia. So this, if it gets, I don't know if it's going to get funded. Again, it's struggling because like a no-name Kickstarter. But if they make it, there's a chance that it might never happen. Because it does look a little bit sparse, but um, the early backer is like $15, and I'm happy to risk that money if it means just the chance of getting a even halfway decent Baldur's Gate clone, because you can only play through Baldur's Gate so many times, and I love those 2D hand painted backgrounds. So those are the Kickstarters that I just got into recently. And yeah, that's it. This video went much longer than I anticipated, but I love the sound of my own voice, and I did want to talk about at length what was going on with World of Warcraft. And then by proxy, I had to talk about the immediate plans for the channel. And okay, so I'm going to upload this to YouTube. I don't know how the quality is going to look. I don't know what's going to happen. I've never done this before. XD. So we'll see. Hopefully this is good. Bye.